Right. So, the Secret Invasion, Episode 6, aka the finale. Um, it was a bit of a letdown. I mean, there were some really cool things. Specifically, Sonya and Fury. That was awesome. But anyway, so it starts off with Vara cleaning up after her adventure with Gaia, and Nick Fury calls. And it's basically a goodbye. I mean, it's an obvious goodbye to Vara. He actually thinks he's going to die. Now, or at least that's how he's making it sound. For all we know, this, because all we saw was his back, for all we know, this could have already been Gaia calling Vara, pretending to be Nick Fury, considering what ended up happening with her and Nick Fury. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Gaia on her own doing that. Even though it totally sounds like Fury, dialing the number many, many times, but just not going through with it, which is both pathetic and makes you wonder, why? You're married to this woman. Why are you afraid to call her? But anyway, which is why I think that it was Gaia. That it wasn't really Fury. So, yeah. So he says his goodbyes, and then we see Fury walking well, there's a car that the soldiers are trying to stop, and of course it can't stop because there's nobody in the damn car. And then you see Fury shooting the Skrulls. Now, I don't know, the real Nick Fury did not kill the Secret Service agents, but did Gaia kill the Skrulls? I mean, on the one hand, Gravik is the problem. I mean, the Skrulls are just doing what they're told. Most of them probably didn't want to have anything to do with Gravik's insanity. But anyway, so Fury walks through looking at his Geiger counter and then starts coughing. And it's obviously just a show. Now, whether it's just a show for Gravik or it was eerily quiet. There was nobody around. I mean, all you saw were the dead bodies from last week's episode when they tried attacking Gravik. So if anybody, like me, thought that Beto might have survived and that he wasn't permadead, he's permadead. Because Fury walks right past his body. So he goes to see Gravik and he's coughing. Gravik's is way too giddy about this. And so they start having a conversation. Fury makes a show of not being able to take any of the iodine pills that he brought with him because he's coughing so much. And I'm like, there is no way this isn't an act. Now, at this point, I did not realize that the act was that it was Gaia. But then they started talking. First off, I didn't think it was Gaia because they made such a big deal at the beginning of the season that Skrulls only stopped noticing other Skrulls pretending to be people after a certain amount of time. Obviously, Gaia has not been Nick Fury for that amount of time. So yeah, at this point, I have no reason to doubt that it's the real Nick Fury. And Gravik even asks him, did you bring the Avengers as your backup? And that you're showing that you need someone to help you. And he's like, yeah, something like that. Again, at this point, I have no reason to doubt that it's Nick Fury. And I thought that Gaia is his backup. So I figured Gaia was involved, just not in the way she actually was involved. So Fury and Gravik start talking, and Gravik tells us that the face he's using is the face of the first man he killed on Fury's orders. Now, we don't know what the orders were. I mean, we don't know the reasoning. According to Gravik, he was just a misguided soul and didn't deserve death. But he felt he had to kill him because he wanted to make Fury proud. Now, whether Fury actually wanted him dead or if there was something else involved and Gravik just understood that he wanted him dead, I do not know, because this is not Fury. So, of course, Fury doesn't know what Gravik is talking about. And Gravik notices, you don't remember. How is it that Gravik is not catching on that this isn't Fury? Especially when Fury said things like what he was thinking about when he was snapped. He dropped an F-bomb. He said motherfucker. I mean, this doesn't mesh with what Gaia was saying. There were some things that did actually sound Nick Fury-ish. Based on how this show had portrayed him. There were some Nick Fury-ish moments, but that wasn't one of them. So then he gives him the vial, which, I'm sorry, they made it sound like that this was a peace offering. And that's what Gravik literally asked for in the last episode, but whatever. So he gives him the vial. He checks it out to make sure that it's real, it's legit. They had Abomination's DNA? How? Unless this is more than just from that fight with Thanos, that, huge fight after 5 years, I just do not see how they could have gotten Abomination's DNA. It's like the writers were like, who's a cool character we can add? Okay, let's do this one. And it's interesting how the first person Fury mentioned was Carol Danvers. And I think the main reason is because she was a part of this. Fury even said, I realized after the first few years that I'm just not going to find you a home because, nobody wanted you. And I'm just like, I could see Carol saying something like that because she's actually cosmic. How the hell was Fury actually looking at planets for them to inhabit? Especially since it started in the 90s, and I don't think astronomers were even finding habitable planets in the 90s. I could be mistaken, I could be wrong. But I just thought that was weird. Because, yes, Fury did say he would promise to find them a home, but I don't know, did Carol communicate that she's just not finding anything? And he's the one who has to do something with that information? I mean, how does that work? But anyway, so, he realized that Earth is gonna have to be their home and blah blah blah. It's like, wait, what? You just literally told Talos that, of course they're not gonna get along. Humans aren't gonna get along with Skrulls. They can't get along with each other. So that's when you're starting to think, okay, something's off. especially with the how he felt when he was snapped. That is so not Nick Fury. So I started wondering, wait, what's going on? Now at this point I still didn't know it was Gaia, just that that was not Nick Fury. Or Nick Fury is blowing smoke up Gravik's ass. That was probably my bigger thought, was that he was blowing smoke up Gravik's ass. Because what a what now? But anyway, so he gives him the vial and he checks it. It's legit, which I'm just like, what the hell? You're giving Gravik all the DNA of all the Avengers? How is that in any way a smart idea? But, of course, Fury's much smarter than me. So, and he must have given Gaia a quick crash course on everyone's powers and how they work. Because she used them beautifully, especially Mantis's powers. So, Fury is still in the machine when Gravik runs it. So obviously Gravik was really intent on killing Fury, because I can't imagine that he would have survived that. So you hear him screaming, which again, Fury wouldn't just scream. There would be F-bombs all the livelong day. So, the process is over. He's like super jacked and decides that he's going to end Fury. Well, what do you know? Fury is fighting back. So, again, I'm like, well, Fury in the comics is like immortal and he can do all these amazing stuff. So maybe this is them, you know, doing a more comic book accurate Fury, and that this changed him. But no, it's Gaia. And so she's just as much of a super Skrull as Gravik. And she's super pissed because, well, thanks to him, she's an orphan. So I can't blame her for being really pissed off. So they fight, and they're cycling through all sorts of powers. And then they both land on using Captain Marvel's powers, which I found to be quite telling because, you know, she's the one who helped promise them a new home. So I found it very interesting that that's the power they settled on. But anyway, so they're fighting, and Gaia again gets the upper hand on Gravik because she knows the ins and outs of these powers, especially, like I said, Mantis's, because Fury obviously gave her a crash course. Or maybe she gave herself a crash course. I mean, let's face it, Kamala Khan seems to know a lot about Carol Danvers, so maybe she was just able to find this information, but I'm thinking it was Fury, because there's no way that this wasn't his idea. That while she's beating up on Gravik and getting all the Avengers powers, Fury and Sonya are going to free the president, or at least save the president. So Sonya calls Rhodey and tells him that Fury's on his way to kill the president, which gets Rhodey's attention. He's like, wait, Fury's coming here? And I'm pretty sure she said kill the president, not save the president, because she's pretending to not be aware of the fact that he's a Skrull. So, I mean, why not? And, so Then they play a game of cat and mouse, and all the Secret Service agents are shot. And you can see that they're tranquilizer darts. These are not people who are killing. Sonya, I think, has a real ass gun. So does Fury, but I think what he was shooting the Secret Service with were tranquilizer darts because, I mean, the guy wants to kill Rhodey. He doesn't want to hurt the Secret Service. They're not the problem. It's Rhodey. So Sonya gets the upper hand on Rhodey, and I've got to, I just love her so much. She has the best lines. But, she goes, "You must really be a Skrull because you didn't bother to look behind the door." Which, yeah. But he has Rhodey's memory, so you would think that he would know to do that. But, okay. She, I should say. Female Skrull. So, she gets the upper hand, and she's like, and he's like, but, and she's like, "No buts except yours, back out into the hall." So she has him at gunpoint, and Fury comes and is trying to convince the president that Rhodey is a Skrull, that even though earlier on he seemed to be doubting Rhodey because Rhodey was way too excited about nuking Russia. I mean, of course a Skrull would be excited about that. It's not, the radiation isn't going to harm them. It's just going to harm the humans. So, so you could see that he seemed to be having some doubts. Either that or he was just totally, medicated up the yin yang and he was just trying to really hard to concentrate. One of the two. So, but while they're trying to talk to the president, Fury's trying to convince him to call off the nuclear strike. Because Rhodey is a Skrull, and that, the people, the real life Rhodey is stuck in that facility somewhere. And if you nuke Russia, you're nuking him, along with all the other innocent people that the Skrulls took over. And, he's not believing it, until Rhodey gets the upper hand on Sonya. She kind of was, I don't know, caught between listening to Fury's pleas and just getting lost in the moment of listening to Fury or something, because Rhodey got the upper hand on her. And so instead he's threatening to shoot Sonya, so Fury has no other choice but to shoot him in the head. Now, we've already seen that you do not have to kill Skrulls for them to revert to their normal form. All you have to do is injure them. So, I don't know why they did this, especially since we know nothing about this woman. So we don't know why she was so excited at the thought of pulling a fast one on Fury. Now, it could just simply be that because she was Rhodey for so long, that she just wants to get a leg up on him. Or maybe she was one of those original Skrulls that he recruited, and that's why. But we don't know. We don't know the actual answer because, well, they killed her off without telling us anything. And it's not like Fury looked over her and said, "Ravik? I'm sorry, Raven?" No, nothing like that happened. So we know nothing about this Skrull. And based on what the what the president did next. I'm going to say that nobody bothered to tell him that not all Skrulls are horrible people and, wanted to do this. That most of them just want to live in peace. They're just refugees. They just want a home. That's it. Or maybe because, Skrulls tried to kill him, the president doesn't give a shit. And unlike Sonya, has no nuance in his thinking. But anyway, a question I have is Gaia releases all the prisoners. We see Everett Ross, who's wearing the same outfit that his doppelganger, Skrull, was wearing when he was killed. So I'm going to say it wasn't that long since he was captured. That it was a momentary thing. With Rhodey, however, he's in a hospital gown. So this was Captain America Winter Soldier. So it's been a while. So he is going to first learn all the things that his doppelganger did on his, as him. And he's only going to now find out about Tony. And these guys are supposed to be best friends. So this is going to crush him. That he was not there when this happened, when Tony died. So now we know how long it's been since Rhodey has been Scrody. I still wish we'd learn more about that female Skrull. Maybe we still will. Maybe during the Armor Wars movie or something, because Rhodey has to deal with the aftermath of being taken so many years ago. But anyway. But Gaia had the Geiger counter. She saw that there was enough radiation to make Fury cough. So she was coughing. Now, either the radiation was really not as great as Gaia thought it was, so she made a show of it for nothing. Or, please explain to me how none of those people were actually bothered by the radiation. Not when they were being held in the facility or when they came out. At no point was anyone suffering from radiation poisoning. So, yeah, okay. That makes no sense, but okay. So, everybody goes back to their day-to-day. Well, at least the ones that were in the new Skrullos facility. Then, we see Gaia walking down the street, being followed by a car. And of course, she notices it, but she's not paying it any mind, really, because, well, she's a Super Skrull now, so why should she care? And, then we see Sonya. And she makes a deal with Gaia. But she is completely honest with her. She goes, you're going to use me, I'm going to use you. But between the two of us, we're going to save each other's peoples and make this planet safe for them. So, obviously, they're teasing that they're going to use more of them, which is also, I think, Disney and Marvel is basically saying to save on budget. Instead of having all these Avengers, in one place when we need them, we just have Gaia. So we just have to pay one actress as opposed to however many actors there were. So now it's a question of when we're going to see them again. And then we see Fury drive out. First, he goes to visit his wife. And again, she's hung up on whether, about whether he fell in love with Priscilla, the face, or Vara. And again, he doesn't answer her because apparently emotions are hard. Which I guess, it makes sense. Fury seems to always want to be in control, and emotions, well, they're not good for that. So they say their goodbyes. He said that she asked, when are you coming back? It becomes obvious he has no intention of coming back. What I'd like to know is why she never went to visit him. Because she's a Skrull. I'm sure she used to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm sure she would have been allowed onto the Saber space station. So, why? I mean, I get that she has a life on Earth. She has her parents. So, I can see why she doesn't want to live on the space station, but visit? Never understood why she couldn't do that. So as Fury is driving off, he drives up to that clearing in the forest where he first came out of the ship that brought him from the space station, because I don't think that was the space station. And every time I see that, I get Close Encounters of the Third Kind vibes. So he's about to go on to the ship, but first he calls the president and chastises the president for what he did, because not only is his hit squad shooting innocent Skrulls, I mean, yeah, they might accidentally be shooting a Skrull that actually had something to do with what Gravik was trying to do, but he's shooting also innocent Skrulls who had nothing, who just wanted to be able to live their lives. Or he's shooting innocent people, and you see the Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister, being killed. Which, consider, after the Chitauri invasion, after the Battle of New York, you'd think that security would have been heightened. So what the hell why was it so easy to kill the British Prime Minister? That should not have been easy. Hell, it shouldn't have been easy to kill that talking head. It's just, aliens. So Fury chastises him, and he's like, oh, the old Fury would understand that you have to do what you have to do. And yes, Fury did what he had to do, but he also understood that this all or nothing way of thinking, this black and white way of thinking, is not helpful. Just because some Skrulls did this and tried to kill you doesn't mean all Skrulls are bad. And it is just, you knew that this was going to happen. Granted, I didn't think it was going to be from this president. I didn't think it was going to be from Ritson. But then Fury says something which is going to be very apropos and going to happen. This is one-term president stuff. This is one-term president shit. And that's because by, I think it's New World Order, Thunderbolt Ross is going to be the president. So Ritson doesn't see a problem. The only person we saw of the montage that survived is Shirley, the Skrull who stood up to Gravik. I'm assuming because she was an ally of Talos that she was also an ally of Fury. So she's probably been trained by Fury, so yeah, good luck trying to kill her. Now, so I don't know if we're going to see more of Shirley. If that was the point of showing her surviving. Or if just the point was to show that Gravik did not manage to kill her if that was what he was trying to do earlier. I don't know. It could have been both. So, before Fury is able to go onto the spaceship to go to the Saber space station, because again, I don't think that they're bringing this entire space station down. Vara comes, and she is talking to him, and he's like, she decides that she wants to go by Vara now. Now that humans know that Skrulls exist, she wants to be known by her birth name and not Priscilla. Finally, Fury tells her that he loves her. Not Priscilla, not the face. He loves her. And he invites her to the space station. And she's like, well, I have to come back after a while because I've got work here. But I think, now granted, he probably did want Vara with him. I'm not going to say that he doesn't really love her. I think he does. But I think it's also because he said earlier that when she said she can take care of herself, he said, but you shouldn't have to. Which is kind of sexist, I'm not going to lie. I mean, she's trained. She was trained before you got a hold of her. She was trained. And you just trained her more. So, yes, she's your wife. Yes, your first instinct is to protect your loved ones. I get that. But it's not like it was your fault she got attacked. She got attacked because she got involved with Gravik's people and didn't want to go through with the killing of Fury. So he was you know, adjacently involved, but it wasn't his problem. He was not the one who caused that. It's not like they were looking for him. They were after Vara. So he mentions that the Kree want a peace treaty. And so that there's going to be this peace conference, and he wants her there because she's good with people. And he's not good with people. I don't know, I think he handled himself around people very well, but okay. And so he ends up so they end up going onto the space station. Now there's no post-credit scene. So this is going to lead directly into the Marvels. Now, so far we haven't seen her in any trailer, so I don't know if she's going to appear in the Marvels or if her saying that she has to go back to Earth, she has work there, is going to be their excuse for why she won't be in the Marvels. But, yeah, this is going to be interesting conversation to tell Carol that there's a Super Skrull on Earth who has all the Avengers DNA and then some, including hers. So, yeah. That's going to be an interesting conversation. Let's see if there's anything I'm missing. I think I've covered everything. I'm still bummed that the permadeaths are permanent because I thought that they were leading somewhere with Beto. They didn't. I loved Maria Hill. I really loved Talos, so that sucks that they're dead. But while this is happening, Gaia takes the Sonya and her people to a warehouse where they're holding hundreds, if not thousands, of people. And and releasing them. Which begs the question, is Gaia a completely made up person? Is she someone who died, like the case of Priscilla, and Gaia just took her form? Because she never claimed to be someone other than Gaia. So, so I'm thinking that that's just a random form she took. But I could be wrong, but that question was not answered. There was no line of dialogue saying, "Are we going to find someone who looks like you?" So, yeah, and like I said, some of them, like the British Prime Minister, didn't manage to stay alive too long after she was rescued because people are really, really dumb. Yes, she was taken and impersonated by a Skrull. She was released. I'm sure the president knows that all the captives were released. So why are people assuming that this is still a Skrull? There are ways outside of killing that you can find this out. Sonya has proven that. So, ah. So yeah, this is going to lead very nicely into the Marvels for Nick Fury's part of it, and New World Order, Captain America: New World Order. So, but the next TV show I'm going to be covering is going to be Ahsoka, and I think after that is Loki. So we're going to have a change of direction in both cases. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next video.